You think running will save you, but I have learned the hard way. They always come back to kill us, the monsters. They are not done. They have gathered here to boast about their crimes. And trust me, what you are about to witness is just the beginning.
It's time. Tonight, we feast. They think they're safe, how foolish.
Yes, we will unleash them. The creatures, the monsters. They will tear everyone apart. The twin won't survive it.
Nothing will stand in my way, not even Aiden. Anyone who dares oppose me will be torn apart. This town belongs to me. I will rule it, and every man will shudder at my voice, kneeling at my feet.
The creatures are ready. We are waiting for your orders.
Then go. Let them feel the terror lurking in the shadows. No mercy, only chaos.
Yes, we will unleash them.
I was naive to think that if I could run fast enough, far enough, I'd be free. But they always come back to kill us, to finish what they started. They'll never be satisfied until they've wrung every last shred of hope from us. It's almost funny now, thinking back, how I'd convinced myself I could outpace the darkness. It felt like it happened in slow motion. The betrayal, the poison slipping into my veins as easily as water. My friends, or those I thought were my friends, they smiled, laughed even, as I fell to my knees. I still remember the way the earth smelled as they dragged me to that shallow grave. They didn't even have the decency to dig it deep, just enough to bury their guilt. They didn't expect me to survive. I didn't expect to survive. But here I am, standing in the shadows, haunted but alive. Yet, even after clawing my way back from the grave, the nightmares followed. The soil under my fingernails, the cold press of death at my back. It's with me, always. A part of me is still buried, left behind, chained to that cursed earth. And now, they're here. They gather in this dark, empty place. The same laughter echoing in the night, mocking me, haunting me. They're not done yet. The monsters, they're never satisfied. Tonight, they've returned to revel in their wickedness, to boast about their crimes, to take joy in their cruelty. Two brothers once lived in harmony, side by side, under the protection of their father, the king. Peace defined their days, and loyalty was the foundation of their bond. But with their father's death, that bond began to unravel. What was once a peaceful, united family slowly transformed into a battlefield of ambition and betrayal. The throne, once a symbol of honor and duty, became an object of hunger, an obsession that consumed both brothers. Their love and loyalty shattered, and in its place came distrust, hatred, and a lust for power that tainted everything. I am their nephew, caught in the crossfire of their greed. My uncle, the elder of the two brothers, saw me as a pawn in his twisted game, a piece he could manipulate to destroy his younger brother. When I refused to be his puppet, when I dared to defy him, he cast me as his enemy. In his eyes, I was a threat, someone who could disrupt his path to the throne. So he set his hunters upon me, not warriors of flesh and blood, but creatures that slink through the night, feeding on terror. Each night, he released a vampire, a monstrous servant bound to him, to feast upon our village, our people, and our hope. The creature moved like a shadow, swift and silent, leaving hollowed bodies in its wake, the lifeless faces twisted in agony, drained of life and light. Every night, the village held its breath, waiting, wondering who would be the next victim. The suspense, the constant fear, it was torture. We were prisoners in our own home, trapped beneath a sky that offered no mercy. As for me, I have felt that darkness more intimately than any of them. There was a time I thought I could escape it, that I could outrun the shadow of my uncle's ambition, but the darkness was always there, lurking, reminding me of my betrayal, of the day they tried to bury me alive. My so-called friends smiled, laughed even as they poisoned me, watching as the venom seeped into my veins. They didn't bother with a proper grave, just a shallow pit, just enough dirt to cover me and their guilt. But somehow, I survived. I clawed my way back from the earth, from death itself. Yet a part of me remains buried, chained to that cursed ground. I carry the nightmares with me, the cold press of death, the soil under my fingernails, and every time I close my eyes, I feel it. The laughter, the betrayal, the mocking echoes of the ones who left me to rot. Tonight, I can feel the vampire's presence in the air. There's a heaviness, a chill that settles over the village as darkness falls. People shut their doors, lock their windows, but it offers no real protection. My uncle's creature will come again, and each night it grows bolder, more bloodthirsty. I can feel my people's fear, their silent pleas, the weight of their helplessness. They look to me, the son of a king, for salvation, but I am as trapped as they are, hunted, haunted, carrying a wound that festers with every passing day. But I am not defeated. The fire within me, the memory of my father's legacy, it keeps me going. I will not let my uncle's ambition turn our home into a wasteland of fear and despair. Somehow, I will find a way to stop him, to end this horror, even if it means facing my own fears, my own darkness. Tonight, as I stand in the shadows, heart pounding, I know that something must change. And as the vampire draws closer, I brace myself, determined that this night will not be like the others. The time for hiding is over. Let him come. Let them all come. I am ready. They came in waves, night after night. Monsters bound to my uncle's twisted will, each one a shadow that darkened my people's lives. And I was helpless to stop them all. I remember the first time I faced one, how it felt to see that twisted thing crawling out of the darkness. My heart hammered in my chest, my hands shook, and for the first time in a long time, I was terrified. It wasn't fear for myself, it was fear that I'd fail, that I couldn't protect the people who still looked to me. Somehow, with hope, I barely managed to lift my father's old sword. My arms ached from training. But this was different. This was real. I could hear my own breathing, ragged and desperate, filling the quiet night. And then, suddenly, it was there, pale and sickly, with eyes that burned through the shadows. The creature's face twisted in a mockery of a smile. I knew it could smell my fear. I could feel it savoring the tension, the way I braced myself, not yet sure if I'd even survive. My hands clamped around the hilt of my sword, and with every ounce of strength I had, I swung. I was half blind with terror, but I couldn't stop. My blade sliced through the air, a wild, desperate strike. Somehow, I hit it, felt the cold resistance as steel met flesh. It screamed, a sound that tore right through me, freezing me to the bone. But I held on, gritted my teeth, and drove the sword deeper, the creature thrashing under my weight. And I thought, maybe I could do this. I thought that one victory, one dead monster, would mean safety. But it didn't. As the beast fell limp beneath me, its body crumbling into dust, another shape loomed out of the darkness. Then another. It was as if my uncle had unleashed every nightmare he'd ever harbored, sending them all to torment me, to crush whatever hope I had left. That was the night I truly understood. They weren't going to stop. My uncle wasn't going to stop. Every time I managed to beat one back, another took its place. Their faces, their hollow eyes, and monstrous grins haunt me even now. I can still feel the bruises, the scratches, the blood trickling down my arms, where claws and teeth tore at me, eager to rip me apart. I'm still here, though. Somehow, some nights I find myself stumbling through the village, moving from house to house, checking every corner, making sure there's no trace of the horrors that stalked us. The people don't see me. They lock their doors, huddle with their families, hoping tonight won't be their turn. I can't blame them. I have nothing left to offer but the faint comfort of my presence in the shadows, watching, waiting for the next nightmare to claw its way from the depths. I think of my father sometimes, how he must be turning in his grave, knowing his kingdom has been reduced to this. My uncle, a man twisted by ambition, feasting on the lives of his own people. I wonder if my father ever saw this coming, if he knew his death would mark the beginning of this living hell for all of us. And sometimes I wish I could tell him that I'm trying, that I'm fighting with every shred of strength I have, even if it feels like it's slipping through my fingers. The truth is, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I don't know if I'm strong enough to face them night after night, to bear the weight of my people's silent pleas, their desperate, haunted faces. They look to me, but they don't know what it's like, the way it feels to stand against these things, to feel them clawing at me, tearing at my soul. I'm afraid. Every night, I'm afraid. But fear is all I have left. And if that's what I need to keep going, then so be it. Let them come, one by one or all at once. I'll be here, even if it's just a shadow, even if I'm only a whisper in the night. This is my story, my fight, and I will not let them take it from me.